Hello, Cancer. Thank you so much, as always, you guys, for being here. Okay, Cancer, so looking at your second week of December, you pulled supernatural trust in the temple of my body. I think that this may be an indicator of the trauma that may be trapped within your body right now. And that may be coming from experiences that you've had that have altered who you are. And the message here, I think, is more about you not just trusting your ability to discern what is good for you and what isn't based on your past experiences and what's being held in the body, but it's developing more of your connectedness, your intuition, your, knowing and connection to the all. That's what supernatural is talking about. It's about really developing those gifts. And then trust, right? Like obviously trusting what you know to be true, trusting the intuition. But I'm looking at the temple of my body, and I'm really kind of like honing in on this experience that may have left physical effects on you. And that may be very simply like being more tired, like carrying the feeling of being wore out from difficult experiences. Now, trust. This one is saying your relationship to life is a direct reflection of your ability to trust your own powers of discrimination and to embrace the wisdom of your divine and knowing nature. And I think that that's where supernatural is coming in. It says, allow the power of love to loosen negative attachments and focus on any areas in need of the soothing presence of trust. That may be hard, considering that you may feel like your intuition may have led you into situations that you believed were for your highest good and turned out not to be. It's not because your intuition was wrong. It was because that was an experience that was needed to have to, further like develop and empower that intuition, that knowing, and then being able to trust it. Discernment, though, discernment and discrimination, those two together, that I feel like is a lesson that's been learned. And again, I feel like it's a kick in the ass to get you to start trusting yourself, but being able to do so in a way where you're not ignoring the lessons that you've learned from other situations. The temple of my body, it says, I feel I am not worth enough. And that comes from outside influence and past experience. It says, my body is the temple of my soul. It has no secrets to me. Meaning that, the body stores all of that traumatic shit. And you can't, you can't hide from that. Because it has real world effects. It says this card is about the darkness in the body. It says our body is a temple. It cannot be defiled. We can take a shower, raise our chin, feel proud. It's our body, ours. So what I feel like here is that whatever you have experienced has affected you physically. For one, it very much is a reminder of, the way that trauma gets stored in the body and the way that manifests outwardly. But the thing is that experience may have happened because you believed that you were on the right path, but then, things may have happened that made you second guess your own intuition, or you may even be in situations where you are having to question what you know to be true, like dealing with people in situations that make you think that what you're feeling isn't real. And that very much can be, what's being trapped within the body. But, whatever it was that made you question yourself, this is the message of, no, we need to develop that more. It's more of a reminder of, look at what you've experienced and what it's left you with in the physical. And don't ignore that when something good comes along, because it may just appear to be that way, right? Like you need to catch what's going on behind the scenes. And that's where the development of your intuitive gifts kind of comes in. It's interesting. You're overall the Three of Cups. I got a feeling that this is going to be one of the ones that I see frequently. So, the Three of Cups are talking about your support system. It's about the people who support you and celebrate you. So we could be talking about a group of friends here. You could just be focusing on who supports you and who doesn't. But this could also be about needing to spend more time with people that appreciate you for who you are and want you to experience joy, right? We'll see how that's playing out. In the past, the Two of Cups, the connection between these two is always this feeling of someone within a group of people that, we end up having a connection with. So this could be about a relationship that you may be looking back at, or a relationship from the past that may be coming back through, where it may be a friendship, right? But it's about the connection that you have here with the Two of Cups. Does this person see and feel things the way that you do? But this is going to be for those of you who are looking at a connection or a relationship that you have had in the past. And now it's being pulled forward here. Okay. In the present, the Five of Cups. So, in right, the temple of my body, there's always this feeling with the Five of Cups of like cloaking yourself in the sadness. And that is what is preventing you from, being able to see what still remains. I think that this could be about a relationship where there may be a reconnection that is going to be happening, but in the present moment, I think what you're focused on is the hurt, the disappointment. And I'm wondering what's going on here that's bringing that up about this relationship. There's something here that's left you with like a heavy heart, is what I want to say. Oh boy. And then your fellow water sign, Scorpio, here in future conditions, death. Okay, so, this is a situation that I think is going to change you in such a way where you're finally able to let go of the pain, because we're talking about transformation happening. The old way of things need to die. It's done. It's over with. We have to have that death in order for there to be the birth, right? The new beginning, the new door opening. But this is the ending of a situation that is going to change you. And it may be about who is supporting you. And it also may be about a relationship that may have been like a friendship that's coming through to kind of like help you go through this process. And I say that because, again, we're looking at support here. The people around you that support you and care about you. The ones that give a shit about how you feel. For some of you, you may have gone through a difficult situation within a relationship, and that could be any relationship, right? It doesn't have to be romantic. But clearly there was a connection emotionally in the past. But where it's left you in the present moment emotionally is feeling let down, disappointed, right? But it's going to change you. And because I'm looking at death, this could be for those of you who keep going back to a specific relationship and continuously get let down by it. Your best path to follow, the Hierophant. Damn, man. Okay, so, conformity, commitment here. The Hierophant, though, this is, spiritual understanding on a practical level. But I'm also looking at like really strong commitment to, a specific way of doing things, right? The traditional way of doing things. What I feel like here is, because I'm looking at death and there being a need for transformation in future conditions, I think that there needs to be a focus on why you may be spiritually attached to a certain routine. And not only that, but, the commitments that you have made and what you have conformed yourself to. I feel like there needs to be a change with that. And again, with this like developing spiritual awareness, right? Like if you're stuck in the box, so to speak, it may be preventing you from making, certain changes. So it may be needing a different viewpoint on your spiritual understanding and beliefs, if that makes sense. And then there's this support coming through. This is like, this very much reminds me of, the thought that I had not that long ago about wanting to join a Buddhist temple in the state that I live in. And finding a different kind of like spiritual support group, if that makes sense. But on a more practical level with the Hierophant, it ruling the fives and the most difficult changes that we go through, this is where we gain that kind of like knowledge and understanding and experience. But it kind of like sets a path on how we choose to continue to do things moving forward. So be careful about the kind of commitments to certain traditions that you are making because of this Five of Cups and this need for this like drastic transformation. The old way of doing things isn't going to work anymore. Wow, man. In your environment, the Hangman. I feel like I'm looking at this and I'm looking at it from a perspective of, somebody that we see as a friend that there was a really good relationship with, but there's like this sadness and disappointment in the present moment connected to the Hangman. I'm wondering if for you, it's not so much about the transformation that's happening with you, but happening with another person that, is important to you. But the thing is they may have left you hanging, like literally. Now, for some of you, this is about you really struggling to try to see a different perspective on what may have happened within a relationship here. But we're talking about being in a state of limbo, right? Now, for some of you, yeah, this absolutely could be about something changing big time within your connection with a group of people or a friend in particular, one person here that kind of stands out from your support group where, they may be in this kind of like state of limbo. And then there's this like feeling of sadness, but that's coming to an end, right? But, again, we're talking about something that is going to be transformative here. Now, the other thing, though, too, is do you want to stay committed to people who have an inability to move forward? Like, I feel like for some of you, you may feel bad for someone, if that makes sense. Like, I feel bad for them because nothing is moving forward for them. Now, but straight up, though, for some of you, absolutely, it's being disappointed at the fact that nothing seems to be going anywhere, and you may be struggling to change your viewpoint. And for some of you, there may be this sadness of needing to let go of, or a sacrifice, this emotional connection that you may have had. But in that case, I kind of feel like it's out of your hands. Wow, man, your hopes and your fears, the Fool. This is like, especially with death being here, that's the kind of transformation that you're hoping for, right? Being able to have faith in where you are headed now, and being able to take a new path without carrying any of, the emotional garbage with you. And again, right, like not trapping anything within your body. But, the Fool there would make sense. It's like, I just need things to be renewed here. Like, I need the clean slate. Wow, man, this one, because you've got all of this like major stuff kind of underlying your connection with someone. And it's about the people that are around you, right? It's not just about the support that you're getting. And then coming out the Three of Pentacles. Okay, so that kind of reaffirms the feeling that I was having. There's this feeling of this ending of how things were, this kind of like deep transformation that's taking place where you're hoping to be able to just wipe the slate clean and the connection is coming back through. And then there's this effort that's being put through. And it may be that you are going to have to change the way that, you have seen the situation, because the relationship is still there. That's the thing. There may have been some kind of like letdown or disappointment, but all of that's shifting and changing, right? The way things were, it's over. There's this transformation that's happening. And then with the Hierophant, again, we're talking about the commitments that you're making, especially when it comes to, your spiritual beliefs and understandings, and how that's supporting you and who is supporting you, right? But this absolutely could have to do with you needing to support another person though too. Like I'm feeling both sides of it. It's not just about you needing support. It's you also being supportive of somebody else. And I have to wonder if there isn't this like compassion and understanding that may be coming through of why somebody may have gone through some serious changes that's happening for you. But with the Three of Pentacles coming out, we're putting in the effort here. We're working with this group of people. All three of these speak of the group. So this death and transformation leads to like a different way of providing support. And it's something that works. And it's something that, you're willing to put the effort into. But it has to do with this connection. And I almost feel like, too, with the Hierophant, right, when we're questioning the commitments, it's almost like there's a part of you that is committed to this connection no matter what happens, if that makes sense. Some of you may like feel that way about someone in particular. The Moon keeps showing up, I swear to God. Okay, the Ten of Swords, right? And then Judgment. Damn. Okay. The Moon, again, there's, this confusion. There's this not understanding what happened. And I think not having any kind of clarity, if I could speak right, about what happened with this connection that led to this kind of like disappointment. But it ultimately leads to a painful ending here where both of you may kind of be in this like limbo state, not really knowing how to move forward. And the thing is how committed are you to following this path all the way through if you're wanting a clean slate and you're looking at this need for death and transformation, right? So things were not clear, but that unclarity led to the painful ending. And then you have judgment, where we're talking about reviewing the past. It is the review, it's the wake-up call to see the past differently, you know, in order for you to rise up from the dead, right? Like, but the thing is the wake-up call may push you to start putting in effort here, but I don't think that you're willing to do it alone, and that's the thing. So I feel like, you know, a different kind of support is coming through between you and another person, where there's this painful ending that happened out of confusion and misunderstanding. But judgment coming through is going to show you something that I think is going to change your viewpoint on how, you know, things went and how the past kind of unfolded within this relationship. Wow, man. Play. Yeah. You need some time to have fun, right? And with the Three of Cups, it may be needing to take that, you know, advantage to go out and just have a good time with some people. Play in action and inner power. So, you know, when we're looking at all of, you know, the very serious things that we deal with every day, especially with other people, there's this reminder that, you know, the action that you take can either lead you down a path of continued disappointment or a relief, needing some kind of relief. And I think that that's where this is coming through. Your ability to be able to be lighthearted and to play a little bit is going to create the door to open for you to take some action and really, you know, invest in your inner power. And again, right, developing those skills, because that is supernatural. And I want to say here too, Cancer, that this may be an opportunity for you to connect with somebody in a very different way. Like, let's just fuck the past, forget all that. Let's just go out and do something that we both enjoy. And it's like, by taking that action, you find an inner power that you may have forgotten about. If that makes sense. Time to give rather than take. And then prosperity lies ahead. Perfect. So prosperity in the situation where you start to see development happen, I think, you know, besides having abundance, right? Like the material prosperity, but a time to give rather than take. I remember, you know, when getting back into this deck, that one was continuously popping up. So this is about giving yourself what you need, rather than looking to the outside world to give it to you. I think that that's the more important message there, right? Now, absolutely, if you have the time to give to another, that may be what you're being called to do. But by doing that, either way, there's prosperity in the future. And with the Three of Pentacles, that's exactly what you want to see. Some of you may be working on a relationship where things ended in a very painful way that was under a lot of confusion and not understanding. But this connection clearly is not over. And there's going to be a really big transformation coming up here. And for you, it's going to be like this huge wake-up call that, you know, maybe your perception wasn't exactly clear. But with the Fool, really, it's up to you, right? And then looking at the Hierophant, are you going to stay committed to a certain viewpoint? Or are we going to wipe the slate clean and try to work on things in the future?